Yo, what up, dude?
Hello.
Tell me about what happened this week. Tell me about what's going on in your life. I feel like I haven't talked to you.
Just living. Tina was in town this weekend, so we went to a little arcade, which they had some really dope pinball. They had actually the movie we're talking about today.
Oh, shit.
Had that pinball machine there.
Okay, all right. Dope.
Had the Ghostbusters pinball machine, which is one of my favorite pinball machines. And then it had the Halo something. There's some sort of other title to it. Arcade machine.
Ooh, yeah. We played that when you were here in New York.
Yeah, at that arcade there in Chinatown.
The Chinatown Arcade, which is a gem of a place to go. It's a spectacle to go.
It is.
Because
the dudes in there with the jugs of water playing DDR.
The fucking best. Let's go.
Yes.
Those guys are that's how they get their fitness in, and I'm just like, I support you, I appreciate you, but also, can I play DDR?
Yeah. I think they had like DDR groupies there too. They were just like random girls just like watching them, just like,
Dude.
yeah.
Yeah, that was such a fun whole trip. That was such a fun whole trip. But tell me about you playing the game again.
Yeah, the Halo game. So this one had the 4-player setup. I think the one we saw just had 2-player, but this was like 4-player or whatever. And then it just travels through. There's like different parts where you're like, shooting like some sort of Gatling gun. There's parts where you're shooting off a warthog and things like that. So, and we crushed the whole game. So there's very few arcade games I think I've played all the way to the end. Yeah, very few. Ooh. Speaking of video games, one of my all-time favorite video games just got announced today that it's coming to the Switch. Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
Oh, what?
Yeah, and Ghoul Patrol, the sequel,
fuck off.
are coming to the Switch.
I'm so excited. That's amazing.
Yeah, Nintendo just released a trailer today, so no release date yet, but I am so unbelievably stoked to play that.
That's so fucking good.
Yeah, that'll be a good co-op.
I forgot I have to text my buddy Ash and let him know that we're streaming. So if you don't mind, while we're intro happens, I'm going to be texting him.
Okay.
Yeah, let's get this fucking show on the road.
Let's do this.
What up? Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome to the BFC'S. All right, I'm so excited to be here. Last week, I was hanging out on the back end, not hanging out on the front end, and I missed it. I missed just being around. So
yeah,
it's a good thing to be back. Mom, hello. It's good to have you again. Mama. So welcome back.
No carnival, no games, babe.
No carnival, no games, Tina. Come on. So we're going to be talking about Marvel movies as we've been doing for weeks before. We're doing them in chronological order, and I am very excited about the movie we're going to talk about tonight.
Yeah, me too.
I have been wanting to watch this movie but I've been waiting. I've been patient. And I'm very excited. So, Jeff, what's the last movie you saw, and what are you drinking?
The last movie, well, I guess it is. I watched the Beastie Boys documentary.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. So good. So good. It's cool because it's a live show with Ad Rock and Mike D, and it's them just telling their story. and also at the same time paying tribute to their buddy, bless up, Adam Yauch, aka MCA. And it's just them telling their whole story from like getting signed to Def Jam Records and like that, you know, like Russell Simmons used to smoke angel dust all the time and they would reference that in their songs. Like, and I never paid attention that they say my manager smokes the dust. Like, I was like, oh yeah, they did just say that Russell Simmons smokes angel dust. But it's weird because simultaneously I've been listening to No Dogs in Space doing
valid. Yeah.
They're doing their Beastie Boys.
Shout out to Marcus Parks. The dude is a goddamn legend.
Yes,
very
and
knowledgeable.
Carolina Hidalgo.
Oh my god,
they're amazing.
They're so good. I fucking love them.
Yes, they did. I mean, you got to think they're on part 4 of the Beastie Boys, and each one's probably about an hour and a half, and they just got to Licensed to Ill, the first album. Yeah. Like, it's so damn long, but it's so good, and they get so into depth into the history of hip hop and their roots of being, you know, a hardcore band and turning into a rap band and being influenced by everything that was happening there in New York. And yeah, it's so good though. It's so unbelievably good. And then tonight I'm drinking a New Belgium Voodoo Ranger, the American Haze one IPA.
Ooh, okay, cool.
Yes. So I got the little Voodoo Ranger like variety pack. So it has like 4 different IPAs in there. It's really good.
Nice.
Yeah. CJ, what was the last movie you watched and what are you drinking?
The last movie I watched was, I think it was Commando.
Commando? With Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yeah. I got to work early and every once in a while, I like bring my breakfast in and I turn on one of the movies that we put or one of the TVs we put movies on. And I just sit there and watch it. Like, I come in way too early to do that, but it makes me really happy. And I watched Commando, and what a fun action movie. I
feel like you could finish it quickly too. What is that runtime on that movie? Like an hour, 10 minutes?
Yeah, it's not a long movie. But I was sitting there and like with my like breakfast sandwich and like my coffee, and I was like, this is a Commando moment. I just want to see some like fucking brutal action. That's all I want to see. And I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You can't not. And tonight I'm drinking a black cherry Bud Light seltzer. Because nice. I like my seltzers. So
yeah. Apparently Miller doesn't because they just started like an anti-seltzer campaign. Did you hear about this?
No, I did not hear about that.
The commercial's so funny though, because they're like, we're launching our own seltzer. And it's a guy just walking through this factory, and then you start to notice that everyone behind him is like building a rocket. He's like, yep, we're launching our own seltzer because we don't jump on bandwagons of just creating seltzers just like every other company. And then they like get up to this rocket, and you could tell it's Truly's, but they have them blurred out, and he's just putting them into the rocket. And they're like, turn in. They're like, turn in May 13th to see what happens. I was like, that's a pretty good campaign.
It's a pretty good campaign. Which it's funny because I had a whole conversation today with people about seltzers and bars, and I mean, I like them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not hating on them. They're not. I haven't really found one yet for me that I like personally. I know Shiner makes them now. I just have to find them.
I don't even want to try Shiners because I just feel like they're doing well in all of the other aspects.
Yeah, I'm just so brand loyal that I'll try anything that they put out.
I mean, I would try them. Like, I'm not saying I wouldn't. Like, come on. But I feel like they do a really good job in all of their beer and everything. I feel like they'll probably do a pretty good job at seltzers.
I would think so.
So, I mean, long story short, I'm a fan of seltzers. Like, I like seltzer water. I like booze in my seltzer. I usually drink vodka sodas now because the Russians got to me and I'm a garbage person. So it's probably fine. But Jeff, what movie did we watch this week for tonight?
We watched 2014's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yes, me too. I think that I've seen this Marvel movie more than any other Marvel movie. Yeah, I've definitely watched this movie probably 20, 25 times easily.
I feel the same probably about the second.
Yeah, the second one I've seen quite a few times,
Yeah.
but this one I watched so many damn times. I think I saw it 2 or 3 times in the theaters. Like, cause I was so in love with it, right? I mean, from the first trailer, I was all in.
It's so good. I know we're gonna get into the soundtrack. I know we're gonna get into the characters and the story.
Yeah.
Like, before we like really do a deep dive, please tell us the plot.
So the plot, whew,
Woof.
no, I'm just kidding. It's pretty cut and dry. So you have a young kid named Peter Quill, and in the late 80s, he ends up getting basically kidnapped by a spaceship. Don't really know why yet. Fast forwards like 20, 25 years later, something like that. And he's part of this crew of these Ravagers, which are basically like space pirates. And he goes to steal this orb and kind of rip off the space pirates, kind of betray them, backstab them, so he can go sell it himself. Meanwhile, we get introduced to Gamora and Nebula, which are the daughters of Thanos. Yes.
We've talked about them before. We've talked about Thanos before. And
yeah.
I love Gamora.
Yes. She's so badass. She's such a well-written character.
Such a well-written character.
She probably deviates the least from her comic book persona to the movie. She's like pretty close to exactly how she was written within the comics as far as all the characters. And we get introduced to 2 other guys, Rocket and Groot. Rocket's a little raccoon that's been somehow experimented on at some point in his life.
And Groot, genetically altered.
Yes.
Trash Panda.
And then Trash Panda. And then Groot, who's one of the most lovable characters, I think, in the entire MCU. Such a simple character. And they basically all get picked up by the Nova Corps, which is based on this one planet, and they're kind of the policing of that area. And they all get sent to a prison called slipping my mind, and I know it because it's very prominent in the comic books, and I completely forget right now.
I also don't know it.
The kiln.
Correct.
The kiln. Yes.
And now that you've said it, yes, that's 100% correct.
Yep. And so they're all kind of stuck in there together, and they meet another character named Drax the Destroyer. And I think it's fair to say that Drax is the first Marvel character that, and I only say this from the stories that I heard of young kids with autism, very much related to his character. So he's essentially the first character with autism. They don't blatantly say that, but I know a lot of kids with autism very much liked his character.
When his character came out, they felt so like involved with what he was doing, and the fact that his like emotional standpoint was very literal.
Yes.
I love Drax for that.
Yeah.
I
but nothing
love Dave Bautista.
Yes. It's so, I think they did a good, we'll get into the actors later.
We'll get into the actors. Yeah.
Yeah. And they basically all hatch this plan to get out of there, get the orb, and they're going to go sell it to this guy named the Collector. Then we end up finding out that it's the Power Stone. So we've been introduced finally to the Power Stone, one of the Infinity Stones. Mm-hmm. And they find out how freaking powerful it is. And they're like, yeah, we can't sell it to this guy. We need to take it somewhere, probably give it to the Nova Corps. and this guy named Ronan the Accuser, which he's deviated way different from his comic book persona, wants to get a hold of it. He's supposed to get a hold of it for Thanos because he was working for Thanos, just like Nebula and Gamora. And he basically is like, screw this. I'm just going to take it for myself, and I'm going to kill Thanos myself and become this all powerful being. And I'm going to destroy all of Nova because he's like some sort of Kree. I don't know how to explain it. He wants to eliminate all them because of what they've done to his people as the Kree, he feels, even though they're at like a peace treaty, basically. So, yeah, in which we have seen Ronan before. We saw him towards the very end of Captain Marvel. So that was obviously before all of this happened. So, but we only saw him briefly, played by the great actor Lee Pace. So,
Yeah.
And they basically formed this misfit freaking group called the Guardians of the Galaxy, and they're a dope group.
They're a dope group.
Yeah.
Like, just to open up this movie, like, all of these characters don't really fit in. I mean, we've got fucking Vin Diesel as Groot.
Yes.
That he learned how to say I am Groot in like 27 different languages, I believe.
Yeah, I gotta give it to him. Yeah.
Dude, kind of crushed it.
Him and James Gunn, the director, were the only two, because he actually had dialogue written in the script, and only him and James Gunn actually knew what the lines were. So he knew how to emote and give the emotion when he would say stuff, even though he's just saying, I am Groot.
That's so cool. That is so cool. Yeah. I love that so much.
Yeah.
Especially because it's Vin Diesel, and I mean, he's not the greatest actor in the world.
No, but he's a national treasure.
He's a national treasure, like.
It's down.
I'm here for family.
As long as you can have any power stone here you want, as long as it's a Corona stone.
I just give me my family, give me 7 Coronas for all of my family, and I'll tell you what, you're right by me. Like, I love Vin Diesel. He also has a weird thing of just doing karaoke on his like personal, like.
Yes. Apparently, he just dropped a song too.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard it yet.
I have not. I have not either. So, but we've got Vin Diesel, we've got Bradley Cooper, Zoe said Saldana, fucking Chris Pratt, which we'll have a whole chapter on this on Chris Pratt, because we'll fucking get into that. Dude, it's a misfit group of people.
Mm-hmm. And it's such a weird group of people, and it just works right.
It just works. Like, even so, if you've never seen Chris Pratt, why? But he was the main boyfriend of Aubrey Plaza in Parks and Rec.
Yeah. Andy Dwyer.
Yeah, and he was a fat man that was a goofball.
Yep.
And then he got cast in this, and he got fucking jacked. And before he was in all of this, he lived in a van in Hawaii on the beach and got cast next to his wife, or his ex-wife. Yeah, the dude's fucking crushing it. Like, then he was in Jurassic Park. I could talk about that guy for days.
Yeah. Yeah, he's super great. He actually got pretty big. Well, he got big but not cut before this movie when he did Zero Dark 30, because he played a Navy SEAL in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then he got a lot more lean and just more cut up for this movie. But you couldn't really tell when he was doing Zero Dark 30, like you kind of could, but he has all this gear on, and nobody really knew that.
Like he got in physical actical shape for the role in Zero Dark 30. But he wasn't like cut to like shirtless scenes.
Yeah.
in that movie.
Yeah. And then, they had him full on shirtless, spraying orange goo on him.
There's a literal scene in Parks and Rec where Adam
Yes, Adam something. I know
something
Yeah.
it stops him, and he's just like, "How'd you lose all this weight?" And the only line that they say is, "I just stopped drinking beer." That's it. That's the only way they approach it.
He did talk about that when he was talking about his like workout routine and everything. He was like, "Guys, you have no idea, but stopping drinking beer helped me so much when I started to get into shape." Like,
dude, more power to him. Let's go.
Supporting cast too. We also got John C. Reilly, Glenn Close, Benicio del Toro, Lee Pace. God. Yeah, this
it's
the
list
all
is
doing great.
Fucking constant. Like every person in this movie was crazy, and like watching it, I love John C. Reilly, and I really thought that was going to be like my number one that we're going to talk about later. It was not.
No, it wasn't my number one. My number one was definitely weird that I didn't know that I was going to pick this character, but I ended up picking him. So,
does the person happen to have blue skin?
No.
Oh, we're different this week.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So we're getting into it now. All right. First of all, I would say hats off to James Gunn. Like, fucking stellar production that he put together. Incredible.
Yes.
My number two, and like these are in reverse order now that I'm saying it. My number two is probably Chris Pratt, because the dude crushed it.
Oh no. Yeah, his acting range, like everything, like was amazing in this movie.
We're gonna get into the dark side of this movie and how like it's emotionally taxing to watch.
It is,
but
very much.
My number one. And I know it's probably going to be the same for number two. It's Yondu.
Yeah. And that's why I didn't pick him, because Michael Rooker is so good in the second one that I was like, I gotta go. I don't want to pick him this one because he's so good in the second one.
Yeah, I can definitely see that, and I 100% agree with that. But I just feel for Yondu, because he's got such a big heart, but he's done so dirty constantly.
Yeah, he is.
And I also know what's about to happen.
Yes.
And when I rewatch the second one, I'm gonna feel for him so much more.
Yes, and Michael Rooker is the fucking best.
He's the fucking man. Like, come on.
I love that James Gunn puts him in all of his movies because they're great friends. And he was just like, "Hey, you want to be in this movie?" And then I'm gonna make you an important character that doesn't really seem that important in the first one, but is super important in the second one. And then also he's actually in the comics, the original Guardians of the Galaxy. He is the founder of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay, well,
he is an original Guardian.
I did not know that, but I don't feel that he is not important in this first one.
I don't think he's meant to be, but maybe on the surface level, he doesn't seem like he's important.
I also I might be jaded because of seeing the second one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can totally accept that, but I just feel I feel for that man.
Yeah,
like, because he's got such a positive outlook, even though he's in such a dark, like, pirating lifestyle.
Yeah.
Oh, and now I'm just thinking about the second one, and now I'm very excited to watch it.
See, the character that I felt for the most, and it really hit me in this one, and his acting range, that most people, if you didn't look it up, didn't even know it was him, was Bradley Cooper as Rocket.
Okay. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
loved it. His whole little monologue when he goes off inside the little casino about being I didn't ask to be
I didn't
ripped
have to be
apart and
made.
put back together. I didn't ask to be made. He called me varmint. He's just losing it on him. Like he's just got so much anger and we have no idea what he's gone through. We have
No.
no clue. They haven't even gotten through two movies now plus the Avengers movies. We haven't even gotten really his backstory and what happened to him.
Within this movie, there's so much emotional turmoil that it's so like within Rocket and Peter Quill alone,
Yeah.
it's insane. And like Rocket, which I didn't realize that was Bradley Cooper for a while.
Yeah. It's amazing. I watched videos of him recording it and it was just so weird just hearing that voice come out of him.
He's so fucking talented at putting that voice in and not sounding like himself. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it's just being a voice actor, but to portray the emotions that tiny creature, that trash panda has, it's so fucking good.
I feel like he just embodied every dude he ever knew from Philly because he's from Philly. So I feel like he just like was just like, I know this guy. I've met this guy like 50 times throughout my life. Like,
I feel like that he
and
just
did
like
that.
he was like, "Oh, you want me to be a raccoon? Tell me something, boy." They're like, "No, don't do that. Just be angry." And he was like, "Fuck, okay, fine."
Yeah. No, he's so good. He has such good comedic deliveries too. Even when he mutters stuff under his breath, and he's just such a sarcastic asshole. But like he right away is just like all in on the team because you can just tell he wants to be a part of something.
He wants to be bigger than just him and Groot, and like
Yeah.
him and Groot have the best friendship I think in the MCU, hands down.
Hands down.
Like,
and then when Groot ultimately sacrifices himself.
I didn't want to get into that this early. Like that. Oh my god, there's so many things about this movie that make me want to cry. And oh my god.
Yeah.
It's like
I teared up twice watching it this time.
Fuck. Well, I'm probably gonna cry really early in this. So I guess we're just doing this. We're just going for it.
Okay.
Fucking we are Groot, man.
Yeah. That was it's so simple, but it was just like it was so it meant so much more on so many levels. Like just saying that line, we are Groot.
Fuck, man. I know I'm probably gonna cry later, but I'm crying right now because of that moment. That moment was so beautiful and just accepting and just like I felt it on a existential level of just being like with you guys. Just like if we're falling down on a spaceship, someone's gonna put their arms on me.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, man! Come on, come on! I don't think we're gonna do this early.
The other scene that got me really good that I teared up was
what are you about to say?
Peter, take my hand.
God damn it! Yeah, I know.
And he sees his mother, and I was just like, oh, damn it!
Yeah.
Oh man.
I already told you that I knew that this episode was gonna get dark, and we've been through loss together, like in our lives, and you've also you are a soldier. You've definitely seen loss in your life.
Yeah.
And I will never know what it's like to lose a mother. But I feel like that, and please correct me if I'm wrong, we've seen the worst type of loss.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But even though losing your mom, I don't think I would ever be able to come back from that.
Yeah.
In that moment,
it makes so much sense to Peter Quill's character and how he his obsession with his Walkman and his music and all of his 80s things and his 80s
Yeah.
references.
Yeah.
It's everything that he's holding on to since he was snatched up from Earth, everything he knew, and lost his mom all in one day. I mean, it was just, the guy's been through a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like, it makes total sense. He couldn't, it's not just him like, oh, look, he's kind of quirky and funny. He listens to cool music and he has a troll doll and, probably Garbage Pail Kid cards or something, like, no, he's just, that's everything he remembers from his life when he was
Yeah.
happy and with his mother.
Dude,
Like,
I literally had a moment today when I was working where the like playlist at the bar just played Hey Brother by Avicii.
oh yeah. Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
That was it. I went and like poured myself a shot of Jaeger, which was gross, and like I just had a moment by myself where that was like that's all the memories that comes through, and
Yeah.
that's Peter Quill.
Yep. He holds on to all of that, and that music's very, very important to him,
Yeah.
So I 100% get it. Like, such a cool character choice for James Gunn to make. That elevated this movie. I mean, the soundtrack elevated this whole movie.
Like, and we're definitely going to get into the soundtrack. Like,
Yeah.
that's going to be our next topic of discussion. Because I really didn't expect to get into the emotionality of this quickly, but it's hard not to.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I got fucking tears in my eyes right now. I don't have a box of tissues over here, so I'll just look like a mess for a minute. That's fine. Like, let's get into the soundtrack.
Okay.
Which
I had two of my favorite songs that I love on here, and which is the Runaways' Cherry Bomb, which is a super dope freaking song. Joan Jett's first band.
Such a great like moment when it came up.
Yeah. And then David Bowie's Moon Age Daydream. I fucking love that song.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one's kind of an overlooked one because there's such good emotional hits throughout the movie at the right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's such a great song.
This was the first of all of the Marvel movies to really dive into like an older generation of music.
Yeah.
Which we'll see this again when we talk about Guardians 2. We'll see this when we talk about Ragnarok, because then it's like properly utilized because it's a system that works.
It does. And it's become like a cornerstone in pop culture now. I don't know how many bars and stuff I go into, and I'm sitting there for a few minutes and I'm like, they're just playing the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack. You just start hearing track after track. It happens. Yeah, it happens all the time.
Like, I do it because I love it, but I
mean, I own the damn vinyl records to both albums, like, because they're amazing albums.
Oh, like, Mom, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you cry.
Aw.
Mama's crying. All right, sorry. But we sometimes do this. It doesn't happen very often, but
no,
sometimes.
This is an emotional movie.
It's a very emotional movie. Like, fuck.
And the second one's pretty damn emotional too.
I know. I know that next week is gonna be even more so for me. Like, this was the first of all the Marvel movies that I like had to rewatch, and I had to sit there and just like be like, I don't know how I'm gonna deal with this.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm gonna discuss this.
Yeah.
Like, it's difficult. It's rough. It's the most serious of like culture that's happening within like any of them until we get
Yeah.
into further ones at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. It's weird because it's the most human movie and it's mostly about aliens.
Dude, no, it's about a fucking dude in space that's just
Yeah.
a fucking dude who loves his mom and is just sad.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the movie.
Yeah, I should have just given that as the plot. Like that's essentially what the movie's about. Like this movie definitely had like a little bit of a grittier edge to it. You could tell there was a lot of elements of James Gunn, just the jokes and saying like damn and shit and you know, I mean
We're the
the part
Guardians
where
of the
like
Galaxy, bitch.
see bitch. Yeah, like
Like,
come on.
there was definitely a darker edge to this movie, and it was
Yeah.
done in a well that was eloquent and like proper.
Yeah.
It felt like it was necessary and it should be there.
Yeah. I mean Gamora being like, by the way, your ship's disgusting. And he's like, if you took a black light to this thing, look at Jackson Pollock painting. Like that's really gross.
It's very gross. That's very gross.
It's such an obscure reference that most kids were watching were like, I don't get that. But you know, like
I got that immediately. I was
Yeah.
like, yes.
ugh.
Yes. That's disgusting. Like,
Yeah.
no. Oh my God.
Which it was Quill the most pop culture diverse 8-year-old kid ever. I mean, this kid
How
leaving
does he
Earth
know
at,
who
like,
Jackson Pollock is? Like that he hasn't been to Earth in 25 years. How does he
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, just the fact that he just knew everything that was happening during the 80s. Like he was the most like pop culturally aware, like 9-year-old, whatever he was.
His mom was just like, here's a mixtape, and also here's a just a flash drive of not even a flash drive. No, it's just DB pictures of Jackson Pollock paintings.
It does hit all the feels, babe. Yeah, it hit all the feels multiple times, and it does every time. Every time I watch the movie,
Dude,
like
it's such a good movie.
and
I know that next week is gonna
Yeah.
be fucking rough.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
The CGI in this movie was fucking phenomenal.
so
I
good.
think
It's so great.
I think it's the best we've had so far, hands down.
I
at
feel
this
like
point.
that the CGI in this had the most money going into it. Like I didn't even look up the budget for the movie. But I feel like that for this specific one, they knew coming into it they had to have a lot of money present.
Yeah, I know it grossed $772 million, and I want to say the budget was about 200 and something million.
Okay, so
Yeah,
more than
it
Iron
was-
Man 3.
It was 232 million gross. So that's like it was 195 million and then another like 38 million for everything else that goes into it, all the promo and all that stuff. So,
Yeah.
but yeah. So I mean the movie made over 500 almost it made over $500,000
Yeah.
by itself. So
That's I expect and understand that.
yeah.
I mean, with
Um,
bringing out like the cast that they did, I mean, specifically Chris Pratt coming out of being the best character of Parks and Rec to
Yes.
being like, oh, this guy's about to be jacked in a space
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, he's gonna be the lead in our weird space pirate like misfit. I mean, what a gamble for Marvel to do this too. This is hands down the biggest gamble they've
No,
done.
no, it's not. No, Robert Downey Jr. was the biggest gamble.
That's true.
All right,
That's
this
true.
was a gamble, but it's way less. Robert Downey Jr., which is why he got paid like a quarter of what Terrence Howard got paid.
Yeah.
That was the biggest gamble.
Yeah.
This guy, his comedic timing was already there. So it was just figuring out if his physicality was there. And with him doing Zero Dark 30. They knew that.
Yeah.
They knew that going into it. Like,
Yeah.
he's only going to crush it.
Yeah, such a great character. And I think we'll see more throughout the next movie and then into the Avengers movies that we get his drive for the decisions that he makes, even if it pisses people off a little bit. But we understand because of that emotional attachment that he gets to people because of everything that he's been through.
Like,
So
I will be very excited to continue this conversation when we get to Endgame.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like,
well, Infinity War, really.
Oh wait, yeah, I mean Infinity War, like, which is going to be probably like a 13-hour episode.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be so damn long.
Oh my god, it's going to be gnarly.
The one CGI that I didn't really like was Thanos. In this one, they hadn't quite figured him out yet, so that's why we just kind of got like that one shot of Thanos, and it was just kind of like, yeah, like that's it. That's all we got of him because he looks way better in the last two Avengers movies.
Way better now.
He was very, very purple, just
purple
goofy
ball sack
looking.
Face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They definitely nailed his look later on. They hadn't quite gotten it down yet. So
I would definitely agree with that.
We haven't really felt the full power of his character right now. At this point, he's just kind of like, all right, he's just some dude in space. Like,
he's just some purple dude that has weird marks on his chin, and that's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be right back before we finish this out.
Cool.
We are back to finish up this conversation about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. A very emotional movie that I'm very excited about.
Yeah, so let's get into the comic book history a little bit. So I think this was probably the most kind of unknown batch of characters.
I had no idea of them. Like, going into this, I had no idea.
I vaguely knew the name, but I had no clue who the hell the Guardians of the Galaxy were, because it was originally a comic book series that kicked off in the 60s. So it was basically, they were this group from the 31st century, and they were from an alternate universe timeline, Earth 691. And at that time, it was Yondu. It was Major Vance Astro, later to be called Major Victory, which might be the coolest fucking superhero name ever.
That's the coolest name ever.
Yes.
Major Victory?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, can you just call me that from now on?
Right? It's super cool. You had Vance Astrovic, you had Martin X Tanaga, Captain Charlie 27, which, spoiler, we might get introduced to a few of these characters very soon. Yep. Badoon. And basically they end up going through some sort of wormhole or something. They come back to Earth and they actually meet up with the Avengers. So Yondu is like, there's literally like a comic book where like Yondu and Captain America are like fighting next to each other and shit.
Dude, and I fucking love Yondu.
Yes, it's so cool. I'm
very excited for next week because I want to talk about Yondu so hard.
Yeah. We could just talk about Michael Rooker all day because I fucking love Michael Rooker so much.
Good. He's so
That's
good.
A national treasure.
Oh my god,
there.
that man.
Yeah.
That man. Yeah.
Such an amazing actor.
Jeff, continue, because I will continue to distract you.
So basically, they ended up ending that Guardians run, like probably about, I don't know, 6 or 7 years after all that. Nothing. There was no Guardians comics until 2008. So right about the time that the MCU was coming into form, I cannot remember these guys' names. I had them written down too. But anyway, they ended up rebooting the Guardians of the Galaxy story with the characters that we know now. So the Star-Lord story is pretty much is kind of the same. Basically, a guy named Jason, that's all you know his name as, he crashes onto Earth, ends up falling in love with Peter's mom.
Oh, okay.
He ends up having to return because he's like an emperor. He's of royalty. Returns to space. His mom ends up getting pregnant with Peter. And if you notice, his name is actually Peter Jason Quill. So that was a little Easter egg in the movie.
Oh, shit.
That his middle name was his dad's name from the comics.
Okay. Nope, didn't know that. And I'd love to know it now.
And then, so Peter ends up joining NASA. And then, because all he wants to do is go to space, he wants to go find his dad because his mom used to tell him these stories. During that time,
Okay.
I'm sorry, backtrack. His mom ends up basically this alien species. I don't know, remember what they were called. I think kill ravens or something like that. I don't know. There's something random.
Ravenclaws.
The Ravenclaws, and the I can't think of any other Harry Potter.
Gryffindors,
Gryffindors,
Hufflepuffs, like,
Hufflepuff.
what?
Sorry, call myself a
Slytherin.
nerd.
What? Come on, get your shit together.
So basically, they come down to Earth and they end up killing Peter's mom, and try to kill Peter, but he gets away, and because he has the bloodline of this royal bloodline in him, and he decides he's going to go join NASA. He ends up joining NASA. He's going to go to space. He ends up eventually like stealing a Kree ship, flies into space, and slowly but surely he ends up kind of forming the group. Now, in the comics, it's a little fucked up how he forms them. So he ends up meeting up with a character that we're going to meet later on, Mantis.
Oh, yeah.
And he basically kind of has Mantis persuade each one of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and she kind of puts a mind control on them to be part of his group that he wants to form. I mean, so it was Gamora, it was Drax, it was Peter, and Rocket at that time. Mantis was just kind of like a side character. She wasn't really part of the group.
There was no Groot at that time?
No. So Groot and Rocket end up meeting later on.
Oh, okay.
Peter ends up eventually confronting his dad, and his dad's like, I'm the emperor of this and that. And he's just like, well, you're a piece of shit and you never came back for me. And you got my mom killed. And he's like, well, you're Star-Lord. That's your actual like given name. That's your position basically of our empire is you're a Star-Lord. So he ends up kind of adopting that name. And you realize that he's telling all this backstory in the comic. He's telling it to Tony Stark. And Tony Stark, because Tony Stark wanted to know, because throughout the whole comic, it's him in issue 1, him just narrating. It's Peter Quill narrating it. And then you realize he's standing in front of Iron Man, because Iron Man at that time was actually part of the Guardians of the Galaxy. So he was actually like a member of Guardians.
This is destroying me completely. This is this is so much.
Which during Infinity War, they kind of like give a little nod to it by having them kind of team up with Tony during that part. That was their little, Easter egg to that comic and everything like that. But yeah, everybody's pretty much the same as far as their backstories, except for Drax is way different. So Drax is a human, and these aliens, the same ones that killed Peter's mom, I believe, him and his family are just driving along. He's just a regular dude, and they end up getting blown up by these aliens by accident, and he dies, and then he, through some crazy storyline, ends up getting brought back to life as this like Drax the Destroyer. Yeah, it's a way fucking weird, crazy storyline.
So, like outside of the realm. Like what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's way different. But I mean, everybody like has been part of the Guardians at one point. The other member that I forgot to mention, which is going to become
Colin
a
Ferguson.
huge,
Got it. Heard.
a
Done.
huge part of it.
It was me.
Which is
It wasn't
I
me.
pretty
That's fine.
no, it wasn't you. I pretty much assume he's going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 because they hinted to him. We'll talk about that next week. Adam Warlock is the other main character. So which I know we've been teased that oh God, what the hell is his damn name? It's on the tip of my tongue. He's in those High School the Musical movies and
fucking
Neighbors.
Zac
Efron.
Yeah.
We've heard
he's not playing. No.
No, yeah, there was rumors of that, and
Yeah.
James Gunn squashed it.
Yeah. Which
But-
I still would love to see that.
Whoever they cast has got to be big because Adam Warlock is such an important character in the whole MCU storyline.
I love Zac Efron. Like he
Mm-hmm.
seems like such a good dude.
Yeah, I would so be into him playing Adam Warlock.
Yeah, I know that was squashed, and it's not like publicly stated. It's a lot of rumors going around. So,
and I think what they're gonna do is that like Adam Warlock will kind of be like the bad guy, and then eventually turn on his makers, like he did in the comic book, and he becomes part of the Guardians, and like him and Peter are like fucking BFFs. Like,
I mean,
like,
I know
super
Adam
fight
Warlock
together.
has to be like a specimen of a human being, and Zac
Oh, yeah.
Efron,
because he's literally made.
he's literally made.
Yeah.
Zac Efron is a specimen of a human being.
Yeah, exactly.
Like-
I mean, it would just make sense to cast him. So
The man,
Yeah.
when he did fucking Baywatch, that's a whole nother
it was
conversation.
ridiculous. Even The Rock was like, "Yeah, I got to give it to him." Yeah, like The Rock was like, "I got to give it to him." Like he was ridiculous in that movie.
Yeah. So I don't know who they're gonna cast in that, but they got to be a fucking specimen.
Yeah, hands down. So I'm really excited to see what ends up happening with all that. I mean, we have to wait like 2 more years until Guardians
I
3
know.
comes out, but yeah, I'm really excited. Yeah, the comics are the reboot is somewhat close to the modern day, but when you go back to the original Guardians, and we'll talk about it next week, but I think they're gonna pay a little bit more homage to the original Guardians, hinting with them towards the end in the second one. So I'm really excited for that. Like, yeah, I mean, this is our big, besides Thor, because Thor plays with the space stuff.
Yeah, Thor plays into the bringing up the universe as a bigger thing.
Yeah. But it doesn't really show us so much to where Guardians, I mean, they're
That's
flying
all
around.
It shows.
They're in the nowhere, which in the comics, nowhere was actually like their base.
They're in
That's actually where they
nowhere, not in the nowhere.
Yeah.
There's no
Well,
the.
it's nowhere.
Thank you.
It's nowhere.
All right, I know some things, and I
Yeah,
like to be correct about those things.
In the comic, Peter thought it would be funny that they had their base in nowhere because when people would ask him, "Where do you guys live?" for him to go, "Nowhere." That was literally why they picked it.
That's so great.
Yeah.
Watching this because we just went through an entire conversation about how who we all are within the MCU, and I know you have the whole outfit, but I'm pretty sure I'm Peter Quill.
I could see that. I could definitely see that.
I'm a single man lost in a city that I don't know anything about. I also make a lot of bad decisions with
make a lot of sweet 80s references.
all the time. I'm pretty sure I'm Peter Quill, man.
You might be. And how dope would it be if Kurt Russell was your dad?
I love my dad, and he looked like Hulk Hogan growing up, so I'm okay without that. But if Kurt Russell was my uncle,
That'd be dope.
That'd be dope. And then if I have to kill him someday, I would be able to tell you about that.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
Yeah, I agree. I always say my holy trinity in the MCU is Captain America, Star-Lord, and T'Challa, Black Panther.
of course.
That's my 3 favorite characters, will always be.
It's definitely not my favorite 3. Like, Captain America has always been, like, my favorite superhero, but not necessarily my favorite character.
Okay.
And Star-Lord wasn't my favorite character, but watching him, I was like, I feel like I'm very similar to that man. And then we'll get into this on Ragnarok, but it's Valkyrie.
Oh, yeah. Such a dope character.
Such a dope character, and my most, like, close connecting character.
Yeah.
Rough.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like, Valkyrie, oh, yeah. I'm very excited for that episode.
Yeah.
Oh, that might also be a rough one.
Which, for the viewers, I was going to dress in my entire Star-Lord costume tonight, and I got all the way into it. And then I sat here for about 10 minutes, and I almost passed out because it's so fucking hot. The whole thing's made of pleather and shit. So, I mean, I literally have, like, the entire getup. Like, I have... Yeah. I think I spent way too much money on this stupid fucking helmet, but it's okay.
So much bigger than your head because you don't have a large head.
No, it looks massive when it's on me. It's freaking huge. Like, the whole thing opens up inside, like, and of course it has a speaker built into it, and it's Bluetooth capable, so you can just, like, hook music to it and play music out of it.
That's such a great time. Like, what?
Yeah.
You just play Hooked on a Feeling constantly.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish we could just play the whole soundtrack right now.
No, we can't because they'll sue us.
I mean, I literally have his blaster, one of his blasters. Like, I have everything. Yep, it's always my go-to when I can't think of what to go for that Halloween. I'm just like, guess I'm going as Star-Lord again. Like,
not a bad decision.
No, not at all. Which I got to give a shout out real quick. So my shirt, right? This is actually taken from the second one. This is a reference to the Ramones' Rocket to Russia. Yeah. It's straight up the Ramones' Rocket to Russia front cover album. Like,
it's so fucking good.
Album cover. Yeah. So great. God, I love this damn movie. I love them both.
I know. I'm trying to remember the name before we, like, get off of here. But the soundtrack that his mom gives to Star-Lord is a direct soundtrack from... Fuck, I don't remember the name. But it's a complete full circle reference of just, like, that's how he got it, and that's why they used it.
Huh.
I learned that today. Like, so it could be incorrect, but I feel like it probably is. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm looking here. I'm not finding anything.
Okay, well, I can update.
Yes. Yeah. You can update us.
I can update everyone as they are. But I'll let you know. I will let everyone know. All 7 people that are listening. Yeah. Jeff, how can people contact you?
You can find me on Instagram at The Real Jeff Wellman. And then you can find all of our stuff at Blanket Fort Chronicles. Find us on YouTube, Instagram, Spotify. Right now, we have 2 new episodes up of Have You Played? Lance and I's podcast, which CJ is actually on both of these episodes. We do Stardew Valley, and then we did the dumpster fire known as Cyberpunk 2077. So yeah, go on and listen to those. They're really funny episodes. So and very heartfelt episodes too. For Stardew Valley, I would say. So yeah. CJ, where can we find you?
You can find me on the same thing. We'll rate the movie in a second, Tina. Calm down. We'll.
I honestly forgot. Thanks, babe.
Yeah, I also forgot. So, but I was trying to play it off. So you can find me on any of the things that he just said at Colin Ferguson on Instagram, at GoKidventure on Twitter. And I'm on a new podcast called Mise en Plastered, and you can find that anywhere you can listen to podcasts. So we're trending in the Philippines, which is cool, and I don't understand.
Super dope.
Yeah. And I guess to finish this out, Jeff, what would you rate this movie?
I'm gonna give this movie just as a structurally as a film, not just the references and the good characters and the actors and everything. I'm gonna give this 6.
Oh, 6. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this all 6 Infinity Stones because I just think structurally as a movie, this movie is like almost perfect.
I feel that, and I'm gonna give it 5.
Okay.
All right. My Infinity Stone that I'm not gonna give it is the Reality Stone, just for no reason. But just because I know that the movie's coming next, I'm going to be aggressively rating and very excited about.
Yeah.
Like, this was such a good intro into these characters and everything that's happening within the MCU. But I just know that it's going to get better.
It does. That's the one thing I will give the MCU. It just keeps getting better and better.
Keeps getting better.
So
I guess now that everyone knows how to get a hold of us, and now that they know our ratings, and Tina is managing this from a tech standpoint, which is very nice of her.
Yes.
Jeff, do you have anything left to say this evening?
No, I got nothing except for, I guess, our movie next week.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, so we're gonna pick up. I think maybe like a year after all this has happened. So we're gonna pick up with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Yeah.
I'm excited.
Which might be the best sequel title ever, besides Electric Boogaloo. But
yeah, I would agree with that. I'm very upset that the third Guardians isn't going to be MP3, but that's fine.
They totally missed it. I think James Gunn's missing an opportunity. He still has a chance to change it. So
he saw everything about it. So there's no way that he's missing an opportunity. He's got to have some ulterior plan.
Oh, real quick, I do want to say, in case I forget it next week, I think this Christmas they're releasing the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special. They just filmed it.
What?
Yeah, they're doing a Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special. Basically an homage to the Star Wars Christmas special. That was a dumpster fire, but kind of awesome. Yes.
Okay. Great. I can't wait for the Christmas special that we're going to have to put on.
Yes, I know. I'm so excited for it. I completely forgot. It just popped in my head that I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that they're doing that. So
that's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, I'm so unbelievably stoked for it. So
what?
Yeah. So we got that to look forward to. Well, besides the 5 other Marvel movies that we have coming out this year. So
I think there's only 2 right now. List them off. Let's go. List them off.
We got Spider-Man No Way Home. We have Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. We have Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Okay. We have Black Widow.
That's already 2 more than I expected. So.
Yep. And then I guess if you want to count Venom, they just released a trailer for that. It technically does take place in the MCU.
I'm very excited about Venom.
I don't know if I hate the trailer or love the trailer.
I haven't watched it fully yet on a regular screen. And I'm gonna do that immediately after we get off here.
Okay.
So I'll update that.
Yeah, it's cheesy, but maybe cheesy in the best way.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're sponsored by Wolf Cola. So they make sodas, and they also sell them to the It's Always Sunny bar, Patty's Pub. So, yeah.
No big deal.
I guess on that note, Jeff, I'll talk to you. I gotta go watch this trailer, so I'm not gonna talk to you in a moment, but I will talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll talk to you tomorrow, and I'll see you on Friday.
Yeah!
Yeah.
I'm so excited!
Me too.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'll be home Friday night, and then Saturday you'll just come hang out with me at work. And then what time you leaving Sunday?
I don't know. I don't know.
All right, whenever you're not hungover.
Yep.
On that note, we're done.